Hi folks, welcome back. Thank you for watching. Please do hit subscribe if you haven't done so yet. It really does help when you do that. So today folks, I've got a very interesting and brand new boost pedal to show you. Now at the end of last year I showed you this pedal here, the silicon steel overdrive from Muir Audio Design here in the UK. A fairly new company run by a chap called Colin Muir. I think he's got 2 or 3 pedals out now, but they've all been absolutely spectacular. And this pedal in particular impressed me so much that it went straight onto my pedal board. Because this is an overdrive pedal with a transformer in it, just like the output section of a classic tube amp. And having a transformer in a drive pedal isn't a totally new idea, but most pedals that do that just place the transformer right at the end of the circuit and pass the signal through it for a bit of very subtle enhancement. Not this pedal. This pedal has the transformer at its heart, and it creates its overdrive by slamming the signal harder and harder into the transformer and saturating the core for some very interesting and harmonically complex tones. And it really does have the feel under the fingers of cranking up a classic non-master volume tube amp and getting the output transformer really cooking. So it's a very, very excellent sounding pedal, this. But one of my favourite things to do with it was to turn the drive all the way down and use it kind of as a sort of clean boost into an amp, but imparting a little bit of that sort of saturated transformer character into my tone. And Colin obviously thought something very similar because he's just brought out this, the silicon steel boost. Now to my ears this pedal sounds fairly similar to the silicon steel overdrive with the gain all the way down. But rather than just give you, I think, 21 dB of clean boost and a very powerful 2-band EQ, Colin has also included this control on the top right, the heat knob. Now you could think of this being a little bit like a character control. It's a fairly subtle effect overall, but as you turn it up, it just adds a little bit of fatness and harmonic complexity to your sound. So you can use this pedal to dial in anything from a sort of clean buffering effect to an absolutely screaming, very characterful boost that you can then control using the EQ. So you can dial in some outstanding tones interfacing this with an amplifier. So what I'm going to do today folks is 2 bits of playing. Firstly, I'm going to use some single coils into an amp that's set fairly sort of clean, but right at the limit of its headroom. So as we turn the boost up, at first we'll get a little bit of level, but after that we're going to be pushing the amp into sort of low gain crunch. But at the end I'm going to use some humbuckers and crank the amp up to show you how you can use this to add more saturation in a very sort of colourful and complex way, but also using the EQs to control the overall sound and stop it getting too much. So I cannot wait to show you this pedal today folks. It's a very interesting design and it's capable of creating some wonderful tones. So without further ado folks, here we go. we are, folks. Now, please do comment underneath. Let me know what you thought of the silicon steel boost today. Did you prefer it with the single coils or the humbuckers, into a screaming amp or a clean amp? I love chatting nerdy guitar stuff with you folks down in the comment section. Now, at the end there, with a screaming loud tube amp in a very small room with some unpotted PAF humbuckers, we did get a little bit squealy, so sorry, it did go a bit out of control there. But overall, we can dial in some outstanding tones with this pedal, can't we? Now, of course, being a fairly clean boost pedal, how this ultimately sounds will very much depend on the particular amp you're running it into, because the gain you heard today largely was this pedal pushing the tubes and the output transformer and the speaker in my amp into overdrive. It wasn't really doing too much in the way of creating gain itself. But that's the whole point of a boost pedal, and the reason we love boost pedals is it gives us more of what we've already got in slightly different ways depending on the circuit. So with the very powerful EQ, with the humbuckers into the screaming amp, we could turn down the bass and tighten up the lows. We could add some treble for some sort of sizzle on the top. The heat control just really lets us fine tune almost a feel under the fingers, but the complexity of the sound. And of course, 21 dB of boost to do everything from a clean buffering effect, as we heard right at the start, to a little bit of extra volume, some low gain crunch, or just absolutely slam the tubes in your amp into distortion. So it's a very, very nice sounding pedal this, and I'm looking forward to getting to know it more. But as always, folks, those are just my thoughts, so please do let me know yours underneath. I love hearing from you guys on all this sort of stuff. So thank you ever so much for watching, folks. I hope this video was interesting and useful for you. This is a brand new pedal on the market, so I'll put a link in the description box to where you can check this out if you'd like to. And yeah, please do carry on subscribing. I know I always say it, but it makes a big difference when you hit subscribe. So thanks, folks, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.